Welcome back, folks, to Shivers here on the heavybass channel. Last time we went to the museum and... Oh dear. We were supposed to find the professor, and I think we just found him. And he's drawn a hastile symbol on this right. The Egyptian hieroglyphic book that we discovered actually goes into the memory thing, so it's used as a reference point back to when we need to solve a puzzle in the future. Yeah, this game has puzzles, a lot of puzzles, and you need to solve them in order to get around the museum we're about to enter, and then do all that. So yeah. The backstory for Shivers was that 15 years prior to that one, yeah, that piece is going to come real important real later. The backstory for Shivers is that the Professor Wundernut disappeared after murdering two teenagers, and then they stated that the professor then offed himself. Well, it was more like a murder-suicide. He killed the kids and killed himself. That's what the legend of the town is mentioned. Although it seems that if he had actually killed himself, he wouldn't be a mummified corpse in the caverns, now would he? And why was he in the caverns? It's not like anything's going to jump at us to bite us on the ass, is it? You know, I have a funny feeling I might be regretting those words straight up. What is that noise? Straight up. Oh, gee! Okay! What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? What the fuck was this? What the fuck was that? And I'm doing in the lake. And we've lost our life force. Yeah. Say hello to the gimmick of this game. Whatever you encounter will take some life force out of you. You're going to be slightly overjoyed. And if we go over here...
15 long years in this prison. You, get out. Do not meddle in things beyond your understanding. You will pay for your curiosity. You are in grave danger. They are so evil. Already some of your life essence has been stolen. I was too old, not fast enough. The Ixupi are so evil. It is imperative to find all the vessels, because it seems only when they are united with their talismans do they have any power. My plan was to use them on the Ixupi before any more of them escape into the world. I believe they cannot resist the vessels as long as they're with the talismans and you approach directly. This vessel here is of no use to you, however. Its Ixupi is the one who robbed me of my essence, and he has escaped into the world. And they've ruined my museum!
So that's the truth. That's the truth of what's been happening here. Hot creatures called Zupi have been set loose and have been keeping themselves preoccupied in the museum for 15 years. Assumingly they got one of them got the professor. That's how they escape. If they kill someone and their soul then take their place in their prison, they essentially are loose. And it seems the cameras are also working. I'm gonna assume that's something in there. Yeah, here comes one of the worst things about this game, in my opinion, is the lifts. They're not very good. I wouldn't say they're very good, they're just a bit more confusing. Especially since, well, you know. This one, I'm actually a bit more surprised here. Why is that? Well, first of all, it depends on how hard your puzzle is. It depends if you can get this one correct. Normally, you don't. I think it's that meme that's in it. You gotta see how much it is, and then I think I might be able to solve this one real quickly. And solved. Thank God for that. We're not going to use the elevators much, because if you use the elevators more and more, then the puzzles get more complicated and more complicated. But what we do now know is that we can now have access to the museum, and we are heading straight up. From the underground, we go straight into the building. Well, at least we've arrived at where we are. Welcome to the Museum of the Strange and the Weird. Or rather, this is Wundernut's office. And, well, interesting enough, this is more basically we get the background of the game. We get background. So he disappeared on September the 30th, 1980, and with the kids missing from that one, which was basically spent. Those two broke into the museum and basically set the damn Zoopy loose. The professor was in Africa at this time, so when he came back, he found the museum in complete total ruins. And he, as we're about to pretty much listen, his hubris for making puzzles was his own undoing. Well, we're about to find out why, because we have a tape recorder.
30th of September 1980. Returning from Africa, I discovered something profoundly disturbing. Someone has been here. Furniture has been tipped over, and the book Egyptian Hieroglyphics Explained, not in its place in the library, but face down here on the office floor. And oddly, one of the pages is torn out. And I feel the presence of... I'm not sure. I must investigate the second floor. The puzzles. When I created them, I never stopped to think they would be an obstacle in the event of some terrible occurrence. The Ixupi. Someone has released them from their vessels. Never has anything been so evil. A name written in the lift. Merrick. Who is he? One of the missing youngsters? Here in my museum? If so, are they both here? Can they still be alive? Evil entities attacking from everywhere, robbing me of my life essence. I can't seem to find the right vessel for each Ixupi. Without it, they can't be captured. Without it, I am doomed. Get back! Get out of my museum! Oh, I wish I never brought you here.
And that was actually true. The professor did brought the very thing that killed him. So Sir Hubert Windlenot was a British member of Royal Society, but he was forced to leave because, well, 1960s didn't understand weirdness, and basically we know how he took drugs, but he basically got immigrated. He was emigrated to the States, and then tried to open up his museum, but then he had financial issues. He had a son whose name was Jeffrey. His estranged wife didn't want him in his son's life, and essentially what he mentioned was that he bought the personal effects of Siegfried Schwartz, who was in Peru at the time. That was how the Zoopy got the States. This is a letter from his estranged wife, explaining how basically, how he was thankful that he resigned from Royal Society and asked him to never be in his son's life. This was late 60s, early 70s, so I think the drugs would have had no issues whatsoever because of weirdness and all that stuff. But apparently it was a scene of shame, which is something that we still have to this very day. Yes, we Brits are capable of shame, and basically we are very judgmental. But anyway, here is a pot. This is the top of basically the very thing we need to capture the Zoopy. Unfortunately, we need all the bits together. The problem is though, this game is randomized, and when it's randomized, everything that you see is quite a bit different. But also, more or less, is that in 1980, Jeffrey was the one that actually wrote to him because retrolighting was still popular. And there's something in the museum. You hear that in the air, and it's not looking good. There's something in the fireplace, and that's something we're gonna have to figure out. Next time on Shivers. Oh, we've got a lot of shit to cover. I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.